David, what inspired you to make Local Hero into a stage show?
Part of the film's joy is the beauty of the landscape. That sense of place that is so imbued in the film has to be found theatrically somewhere else. The music then becomes the landscape and the music becomes the emotion, and in a weird way it was the fact that it would be very difficult to do it suddenly made it very interesting.
Have you updated the story at all?
We're keeping it in 1983. These characters don't know all the things that we now know 30, 40 years later. And that innocence is actually rather a helpful thing for us as makers of a piece of theatre. We had a really great early phase where all three of us would work on the script. Mark wrote songs really quickly actually. Bill and I then talked about how we might make some changes, things that a musical theatre piece needs, and certain plot things that we might look for today needed a bit of addressing. So we've boosted up one or two of the characters so that we have a bit more of a sense of their lives.
So what do you think the message of this story is, David?
I think it's very much about home. I think it's about what home is. Oil, it's also about community and all of those things. But I think Bill Forsyth is a Scottish Chekhov. He shows us human characters in all their foibles and their sometimes vanity and greed and silliness, but he always forgives them. He's never trying to poke at them.
And I suppose that's what makes it a timeless story, and one that's as relevant now as it was back in 1983.
We were talking about oil and what it was, and Mark started to talk about deep time and how when he'd been composing for the film, he'd had this piece which as soon as you heard it, you'd go, oh God, it's Local Hero soundtrack. And he said he was thinking about the rocks and the water and the deep time, the geological time of the northwest of Scotland, which is where, you know, that's where you find oil, that's where the oil comes from.